Retro Flora Podcast. I'm Brenda.
And I'm Chutney, and we're just two crazy sisters with an opinion and a channel.
If you like true crime, conspiracies, and supernatural crap, then this is your channel. Happy June!
It's also Pride Month.
What else month? Oh, it's also National Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So for all you guys out there, your mental health is important too. Sorry, my voice just cracked. I'm getting over a cold, you guys, so...
Yeah, that's why she sounds weird.
Yeah, and that's why we haven't been doing anything, because it's been a minute. So your girl is finally feeling much better than she was last week. So yeah, anything new?
No.
We went to see The Strangers, and we're going to have a video coming out for you.
We also went to Disneyland.
Oh, we also went to Disneyland. Yay,
Yeah,
for
I
our
forgot.
niece's birthday. She had so much fun. She did not like Pirates of the Caribbean, though.
No, she did not. But that's actually understandable.
Yeah, there's a drop, and pretty much the ride is dark.
There's 2 drops, and yeah, it's dark.
Yeah, it's pretty dark. So today I went down another Reddit rabbit hole, you guys. I have been obsessed with creepy stuff that happens in the wood and the Appalachian Trail and all that
Woods.
stuff. Huh?
You said wood.
Sorry, I forgot to ask.
He said wood.
Stuff that happens in the wood scares me. One wood, only one tree there. But yeah, so I started going down the Reddit no sleep thread and found some creepy stories about the woods. And you know me, you know us, we camp. So I don't know why I did this to myself. Next time we go camping, I'm definitely gonna be scared, but it's okay.
I got you.
No, she does not have me.
Put you in front of it.
Yeah, I seen that my siblings do not have me. They will leave me in the woods stranded, okay? So this story comes from the No Sleep Reddit thread, and the person who did it they deleted their page, so...
Or is their name deleted? Like, their name is actually deleted.
No, I can't even click it.
Okay, then yeah. It's deleted then. Without further ado, let's get into this.
I'll be the first to say that all this stuff could have taken place in my head. The mind is a freaky thing and can play some pretty trippy tricks on you. Whenever I was scared as a kid, my dad always told me that in life you should not be scared of ghosts. Fear the living because they can actually hurt you. In my late teenage years, I came into some money after my father committed suicide, and I received an inheritance from him. At the time of my dad's passing, he and my mom owned a cabin up in Oregon by Mount Bachelor. The cabin had been put up for sale since my mom could no longer afford payments, and renting it out was not covering the payments either. The cabin was set to go on the market for sale in less than a month, and was in the process of finalizing all the paperwork with the realtor and lawyer. For the month's time, the cabin was not going to be rented out any longer and was going to be vacant. I saw this as a chance to get away for a while and clear my head in the light of all the things going on. I quit work, packed up my snowboarding gear, grabbed my dog, and headed up in my dad's car. Now, this was our family cabin that my parents rented out throughout the year when we were not using it. I had the key to the cabin and also had the code for the alarm, so I didn't feel the need to stop at the rental management company and advise them of my stay. This has nothing to do with the coming story, but felt the need to mention it anyway. My first 2 days at the cabin were normal and nothing out of the unusual happened. Spent my days playing with my dog in the snow, snowboarding, and the evening playing PlayStation or listening to music, drinking, and smoking out on the balcony. I had already stocked up on food, cigarettes, and liquor, so I was pretty much a shut-in aside from the occasional out to hit the slopes. With my dog as company and DVD/PlayStation as entertainment, I was quite content and started to feel relaxed after all the drama that had preceded my outing. The cabin itself was 2 stories. The bottom story had a living room and a side guest room along with a small kitchen. Upstairs had another 2 small rooms along with a walkout balcony attached to the master bedroom. Most of my time there was spent either in the living room, kitchen, or the master bedroom. I never ventured into the other rooms and always kept the doors leading into them shut. Open doors to dark rooms always creeped me out. I feel you on that. When our parents would go out of town, I would just close all the doors.
Yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind.
I don't know about that.
Well, that's what I told myself to sleep at night. Anyhow, the third day came around and I was going through my usual routine of playing with my dog. His name was Midnight, by the way, and he also since passed. Playing games and watching DVDs. I know. See, this is why I don't want pets, because I get way too attached. Yeah, no. My pet needs to outlive me, and I don't even know how that's gonna even work, but that's what needs to happen. That day, it was pretty heavy snowfall. I didn't feel like trekking down the hill to the main road in my car and decided to stay in. That's when things started to get a bit weird. In our area, there are only 2 other cabins adjacent to ours. maybe a block away from each other. All other cabins aside from those two were around a mile away from us. Surrounding us was mostly forest and very tall pine trees. Tall, that is important later on. Both cabins were empty, and from the past couple of days, I knew that no one was currently staying there. Around midday, while outside with my dog, I noticed that what looked like footprints in the snow around the surrounding areas of our cabin. It was still snowing, so the footprints looked semi-fresh, like someone had been there in the past 20 to 30 minutes before me.
You can tell that by just looking at it.
Girl, I don't know enough about snow, so I'm not even going to comment on that. I live in California. I don't know.
These footprints are 20 and 30 minutes old.
I would love to be able to have that skill, though. I thought that maybe someone was staying in the cabin near me that I may not have noticed. Maybe there were shut-ins like me. Alright, whatever. The footprints led away from the cabin and they disappeared in the snow towards the dense part of the trees. Disregarded the footprints and went back inside.
Maybe don't disregard the footprints.
Nighttime came around and decided to head to bed. My dog Midnight was laying on the bed with me when I noticed his ears perk up to the standstill/listening position. This was followed by him quickly jumping off the bed and running downstairs to the living room. I lay in bed and stayed silent. I was kind of freaked out, and I could hear him moving downstairs back and forth. Around 5 minutes, he ran back upstairs to me and started to do his doggy dance for the sign that he had to pee or that he wanted to go outside. Well, fine. I can't say no to him, so we both went downstairs to the outside driveway for him to do his thing. Only he didn't want to pee.
Ever since we saw the strangers, every time I see a cabin, I get scared.
Girl, I'm already scared because why that dog down there for 5 minutes pacing back and forth? Like, if a human was doing that, that would already give me anxiety. Well, and it's a dog doing it, so I'm definitely gonna have more.
Pee, though.
I get it, but like, it's not like he got up and like ran down and was scratching to get out. His ears perked up, and then he went down there, and then he walked for like 5 minutes, and then like
this is why we need a guard dog. But they tend to be very active, and I'm not.
My guard dog's gonna give me anxiety. That's all I can tell you. That's what's gonna happen. As soon as we were outside, he started to pull on his leash, trying to drag me to where he wanted to go. He kept looking into the dense part of the trees where the prints had been earlier, but he also kept sniffing the side of the house and looking up towards the roof. After he figured out that I was not going to go where he wanted to, he sat himself down and just stared into the darkness. A bit unusual for him, but alright, maybe there were some forest animals out there that he wanted to chase down. But this, I didn't want to chance anything, so I pulled him back inside and we both headed upstairs. After half an hour later, I was laying in bed when I heard what sounded like hooves walking on my roof. No, we're not doing this. It was only a series of around 6 steps, and I rationalized that it could be a pine cone falling from a tree onto the roof, or maybe a kind-hearted forest animal running around. Yeah, that's what my anxiety would tell me. Like, yeah, it's just nature. La da 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 da. Like,
la da da. We like to potty.
But here's the thing: the steps seemed to be spaced apart like a man's length astride. So
man's length stride. What if someone just had really long? It could be a female with really long legs.
Look, all we know is he's saying it ain't an animal.
What if it's a giraffe?
Why is there a giraffe in the middle of the forest, Charmy?
With really long legs.
Then I have a whole bunch of questions anyway, because there's giraffes here. So it was really freaking me out. Midnight also heard the noise, and I was confused. I was like, Midnight? But that's his dog, not the time.
Yeah, yes. I remember that.
Midnight also heard the noise and was quick to run to the balcony screen door, expecting me to let him out. Midnight is brave, because there's no way. I'm not running towards the sound. I'm running away. You know what? I'm a tough guy, and at the time, considered myself to be fairly well built and strong enough to handle myself. So I grabbed my coat and shoes along with my cigarettes and flashlight and went out.
You grabbed the cigarettes too? What, you gonna throw it at?
You need a light, buddy?
Yeah, like, what's that gonna do?
And went out to the balcony. It, right? As soon as I was outside, I lit up my cigarette and started canvassing the roof with my light. Nothing there, and the snow on top was undisturbed. Weird. Must have been all in my head. What about Midnight hearing the noise? Maybe he was feeding off my fear or paranoia. I started to calm down and relax again. By the way, I'm shaking right now, and my heart is beating hard as I'm trying to type this next bit. My eyes started to adjust to the darkness, and I kept smoking and just staring at the stars and trees next to our cabin. That's when I saw it. In a tree that was a little taller than our cabin and around 20 feet from the balcony, I saw what looked like a man crouched in a squatting position in between two branches. It looked really tall, like 8 or 9 feet, and was really skinny.
Slender Man.
It squatted on one branch. Wait, I'm sorry. That 8 to 9 foot thing is on one branch? That's crazy. And its freakishly long white arms were extended above its head, holding onto the branch above it, while its mouth was wide open with no expression. Me, what the is that? I wasn't sure if I was really seeing this thing, and I stood staring and just sat there motionless. I noticed Midnight stand up and start pacing behind me, lightly barking at the time. The thing still didn't move. Yo, Midnight reminds me of like when you're in a situation, you're like, what the heck? And then your one friend is still talking crap and you're just like, ixnay, we're not doing that.
Like slowly back away.
Right. I put my cigarette out and was debating on shining a light in the thing's direction, but something in my head kept screaming not to. Yeah, I wouldn't either, because I don't want him to like be angry and come over here. It's bad enough my dog is already barking, talking crap. Like, I don't want to do anything else.
Just throw your cigarettes at the guy. Like, you want one?
So I walked backwards into the inside of the room and pulled Midnight with me. Once inside, I locked the doors and shined the light in the thing's direction, but there was nothing there. I shut the curtains to the screen door and retreated back to bed. But later on in the night, I heard some light tapping at the screen door, like someone was tapping on the glass with their fingers.
Tap, 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 tap.
No. First of all, it would have been bad enough if you knocking, but you're tapping, and that's even worse to me. Like, I'd rather you just knock. It was consistent. It did not stop for nearly an hour. Midnight seemed to stare at the door, but he wouldn't go near it anymore. The weirdest part was I had a feeling like someone was inviting me to open the door, but at the same time, I kept hearing my dad's voice in my head telling me to stay in bed and do not do it. I listened to my dad's voice and stayed where I was. I passed out eventually and woke up in the morning. It didn't take me long to pack everything and get the hell out of there.
You passed out or you just went to sleep?
Girl, there's no way I would even be able to do that. Like, I would have stayed up the entire night.
Yeah, me too.
Because there ain't no way. And I would have slept in my bathroom. Like, I would have locked the
In
door.
the tub?
Yeah, I would have locked doors, everything, slept with a shotgun. I don't know, like. Okay, so this one is also from the No Sleep Reddit thread, and it's by a random person 123454.
I like that username.
And it's called Something in the Woods Called Back to Me.
There is someone walking behind you.
All right, Final Destination 3.
Turn around.
Oh wait, that's Final Destination 2.
No, it's 3.
Oh.
Because that was the roller coaster one, yeah.
I don't know why that, but what song resonates with that one is roller coaster.
Oh, because, yeah, that scene, that fire scene, oh my god, that traumatized me as a kid.
I'm never going to get in a tanning bed. Like, that was never something I wanted to do. But after saying that, I never will do it. Like, I don't care how much my friend was like, tan, even though I don't feel like I need to
even
tan,
though we still go on roller coasters after watching that movie.
True. But it's something about the tanning bed, man. I'd rather just die on a roller coaster than die in that tanning bed.
Yeah, I want to. That's the horrible way to die.
Yeah, it is. At least the roller coaster is so much going on. I have distractions. Like, Something in the Woods Called Back to Me. Alright, here it goes. I've never posted on here before, but what happened to me last weekend still has me rattled. I need to get off my chest, and maybe, just maybe, someone here can help me make sense of it. I live in a small town in Montana, nestled in the Rockies. My house is just a few miles from a vast expansion of national forest land. It's beautiful, sure, but it can be incredibly isolating. The isolation is part of why I love it, but after what happened, it's also why I'm terrified. Last Saturday, I decided to take a late afternoon hike. There's a trail I frequent, one that winds up to a small clearing overlooking the valley. I bought my dog, Max, a German Shepherd who has never been spooked by anything in his life. We set off around 3 p.m., figuring we'd be back before sunset. The hike up was uneventful. The forest was serene, and the only sounds were the rustling of leaves and the occasional chirping of birds. Max was his usual self, darting ahead and then circling back to me. It was perfect, exactly why I moved out here. When we reached the clearing, I sat down on a fallen log to catch my breath and enjoyed the view. Max was sniffing around, but after a few minutes, he froze. He was staring at the tree line on the opposite side of the clearing, his ears perked up and his body tensed. "What's up, boy?" I asked, trying to see what he was looking at. And that's when I noticed it. At first, it was like a shadow moving between the trees. I squinted thinking maybe it was a deer or something, but then it stepped out into the clearing. It looked like a person, but not quite. It was tall and gaunt with limbs that were too long for its body. Its skin was pale, almost grayish, and its eyes were completely black. Oh, heck no. First of all, anything that looks like a human but isn't a human gives me the uncanny valley feeling. And yeah, I don't like that feeling. Like, either be a human or don't. Like, pick.
Either be a human or don't. Like, he has a choice.
Max started growling, a low, menacing sound that I've never heard from him before. The figure took a step forward, and that's when I noticed it was mimicking my movements from earlier. Almost like it was replaying a tape of me walking. Then it spoke. Max, what's up, boy? The voice was mine. Exactly mine.
Oh, heck no.
Right. I felt a chill run down my spine, and Max started barking furiously. The figure stopped, tilted its head, then turned around, disappearing into the trees. I didn't stick around to see if it would come back. Same. Like, a man after my own heart. Yeah, run.
I wouldn't have done that either.
That Vine song where it's just like, run.
Dude.
Yeah. I grabbed Max by the collar and practically ran down the trail. I just imagine him dragging Max down the trail.
Poor Max.
Max was probably like, faster. It was getting dark, and every sound made me jump. Max kept looking back, growling intermittently. We made it home just as the last light was fading. I locked all the doors and windows, something I rarely do out here. I tried to calm myself down, rationalizing that maybe it was just some sort of trick of the light, or that maybe another hiker was messing with me. But if there's another hiker that looks like that, like, that's already a problem.
Like, can mimic you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm talking about like the black eyes and everything. But deep down, I knew that it wasn't. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every creak of the house made me jump, and Max was restless, pacing around the living room. See, there you go, giving me anxiety. Around 2 a.m., just as I was starting to doze off, I heard it. Max, what's up, boy? It was faint, almost like a whisper, but it was definitely my voice. It was coming from outside near the tree line. I didn't sleep at all after that. When the sun finally came up, I took Max and drove into town. I needed to be around people, somewhere that didn't feel so exposed. I told my friend Jake about it, and he just laughed, saying I'd been out in the woods too long. Maybe he's right. Maybe it was just my mind playing tricks on me. But I can't shake the feeling that something out there saw me, remembered me, and called back in my own voice. I haven't been back to the trail since. Every time I think about going on a hike, I hear the voice again, and I can't bring myself to leave the house. I don't know what I saw, but I'm sure one thing, it saw me too. Has anyone ever experienced anything like this? I need to know I'm not losing my mind.
You're losing your mind. Just kidding.
Not only did it call back to you, but it knew where you lived.
Yeah, well, it actually could have just followed him, though.
Okay, but that's still scary. Now he knows where you live. Like, what's stopping him from leaving the tree line and going to your house?
Yeah, that is.
Like, I don't like that. We're selling this house. We're renting it out as a haunted Airbnb. Okay, this last story also comes from the No Sleep Reddit. You guys, I think there's a pattern here. I might have an addiction to the No Sleep Reddit. And it's called Let Me Tell You What I Saw in the Appalachian Mountains.
That's a really long title.
And it's by Frigrim.
P.H. Grimm. Do with that what you want.
Hello all. Originally, I'm from West Virginia. I moved around between the Appalachian and the Midwest some as a kid. Between the ages of 10 and 13, I lived in rural Kentucky in the foothills of one of the most oldest mountain ranges on the planet. Okay, but they put on the plant, but I meant they think they meant on the planet. I lived with my dad and my grams. We lived in what we would call a holler. Think of it like a cul-de-sac in between a set of foothills. I can't think of that at all. I don't understand. We lived in the middle of the neighborhood with nothing but family on both sides. No one lived across from us or behind us because of the foothills. When I moved in, my grams had some rules I had to follow. At the time, I chalked them up to hillbilly stranger danger.
Dang.
There were things like don't mess around with the wild animals, don't go out in the woods alone. Then they got a little weird. Don't whistle. If you hear your name, don't answer. Don't go to it. If you see someone in the woods, you might know. No, you didn't. And just come home. Yeah, those rules would freak me out a little. The not whistling,
wait,
I've heard.
She said, "Don't." If someone calls your name, don't answer. So if she calls my name, I'm not gonna come home.
When you're in the woods, like if someone calls your name, don't answer. And the one that really creeps me out is if you saw someone you know, no, you didn't. This experience happened in August when I was 11. My dad and I had mowed a path through the tall grass and berry bushes to the left of the double wide we lived in. We camped out there a lot because it was close enough that we could check on Grams. Now, when you're in the woods, things are louder than you think. You have animals, bugs chattering, wind going through the trees and the grass. There was a stream that ran along the road you could easily hear. That night, we added the campfire to the list. My dad decided to go back to the house about a quarter mile to get some more beer and check on Grams. Before he left, he told me not to mess with the fire. After a few minutes of watching the fire, things started to get quiet, like real quiet. The wind had all but stopped. Bugs and animal sounds were all gone, and the stream sounded like it was miles away. I was getting uncomfortable, even though I had been left at the campground before like this. Then I started to smell and taste it. It was in the back of my throat, out of nowhere, this awful metal tang. After a few moments of dread, my dad came back. He was mad right away and said he could smell burning metal coming up the trail. He accused me of tossing beer cans into the fire. I told him I didn't and even pointed to the fire to prove it. He said there was a storm coming in and we needed to get back home, and he let it go. We left the tent and started on our way.
Okay, but who just throws cans inside a fire?
Kids.
I mean, I've never did that.
I know, but like we're talking about like kids who are probably just bored and just throwing throwing cans and just watching stuff burn, like. Now, the very cool but very weird thing about lightning in the woods is lightning hits, it lights up everything like the middle of the day. Well, up until the front of the trees. After the first set of trees, it was pitch black. There were no street lights unless you have lights on your property. It's completely black. So it's pitch black, lightly raining, and other than the dim lights from the house windows, there's nothing. I'm eating watermelon as one does in August in the mountains when the first clap of thunder hits. Everything is as bright as it can be. After the second passes, it's black as pitch aging. What? It's black as pitch aging. That's what it says. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe that's a saying that...
A southern saying?
Yeah.
Is he southern? He sounds southern.
It's a saying
that
I've
West
never
Virginia
heard.
Is southern.
Next clap of lightning comes, and that's when I kind of see it. On the porch, past the yard, over the stream, past the road, and the...
That was a lot.
It was a lot. And the ditches on either side, just past the first line of trees, I could see the silhouette of it. Then it goes dark. This is also when I can start to taste that same awful burning metal. I'm not really sure what I saw, so I just kind of stay still. Girl, you're just gonna stay still. No, we need to run. It's a few moments before the lightning hits again. The figure is now closer, standing side by side to the trees. Then it's back again. I'm standing now, not sure what to do. It's been 20 years to this day, and I've tried, but I couldn't fully describe what I saw. This thing's head wasn't proportioned to its body. The arms were too long and the torso didn't fit right. Uncanny Valley. It was like if you asked a blind person to draw what a person looked like. What? Okay, disregard that. It just didn't look correct. Once the lightning hit again, the thing is standing in the middle of the road. Not wanting to see this thing get any closer, I go inside. My Grams is doing dishes and asks why I'm inside. I tell her I think I saw something.
Wait, isn't it raining and thundering? Of course I went inside. Like, what? Go outside and play in the thunder.
Go play in the rain, please.
Go play in the rain and lightning.
Please hold this metal pole to conduct the lightning.
The grandma tried to get you killed.
I tell her I saw something. She almost immediately gets my dad on his feet, telling him to shut and lock all the windows and doors. My dad, vaguely drunk, obeys. That night I slept with her. The next day we discover the tent door is torn off. Oh no. It didn't look like an animal. Things weren't cut or shred, but looked like someone took and pulled it apart. My uncle, who lived a mile or so up, had 8 chickens killed. Heads gone, no blood.
Vampires!
That's crazy. The next few weeks, all the kids had to wait for the bus with an adult. My dad had to be late to work for almost 3 weeks. Anytime I tried to talk about it, he changed the subject. I just figured I was a kid and it wasn't important or real. It wasn't until years later I finally understood. I was in my early 20s and some cousins were in town from Halloween. As I was telling them this story, my aunt got irate with me saying, "Don't you tell them that. You don't put that evil on them." After, I couldn't help but think back on the times I tried to talk about it and how I was shunned. My kid didn't mind, not realizing it wasn't as simple as the subject change, but they kept actively shushing me. Once I started dipping my toes in Reddit, I realized there was a name for this fucking thing. The same name I'm sorry, they put anti, but I'm sure they're trying to say aunt. My aunt had called it the day of the party. Other people have seen it. The Goat Man. Now, you guys, I don't know if saying this out loud is gonna do anything.
That's not a very scary name.
But yeah. What bothers me...
It seems like something that would be in Gravity Falls.
Yeah, well, Gravity Falls also... Y'all, Gravity Falls, not really a kid's show, okay? I know it looks like it is, but that show is really scary. I did not watch it at night. What bothers me the most is how, to this day, I couldn't describe any feature, nor have I ever tasted that awful burning metal taste. So, friends, if you find yourself in the foothills of Kentucky, please remember my Graham's rules. Wait, I'm going to read this comment because this comment's kind of creepy. It says, we had similar rules in rural Indiana. Though we never had a name for anything that lurks in the corn, do not go too deep in, and never at night. If you get lost in the corn, follow a row until you're out. No matter how long it takes, just pick a row and follow it. If someone else gets lost in the corn, do not go looking for them, even if it sounds like they're calling for help, just a few rows in. If a corn husk cuts you, don't let your blood touch the soil. If you do, you will always be marked.
Why does that remind me of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark? When he was in the corn maze.
But I don't like corn mazes, cornfields, none of that because of those reasons.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my little... I mean, I would love to do a deep dive on the Appalachian mountain and trails, but your girl's scared, so I don't know if I will.
I will never go to the East Coast.
And also about fleshy boys. I'm not saying the word. The word will pop on the screen. If you want to know what it is, I'm sorry, I'm not telling you.
Or sugar boy.
Sugar boy. Talking about Candyman?
Sugar boy!
Anyway, that's my deep dive. Well, that's
or
my...
I guess I could say sugar male.
I like sugar boy. Sugar male sounds weird.
Yeah, but we're like demoting him from men.
He's a killer!
Okay. Or Lean Bean, which is Slender Man.
Get out. Get out. Goodbye. Yeah, all these stories made me not want to go to the forest at night, which is going to be hard because I go camping.
All the time, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just the forest is really creepy and dangerous, too.
What's that called when you're scared of the forest?
I don't know.
It's like something phobia.
Yeah, they're all something phobia. But yeah, no, that is the forest for y'all. Be careful. Well, you've made it to the end.
You must really like the sounds of our high-pitched voices and quirky commentary.
You might as well like and subscribe to our channel and hit that bell to be notified every time we drop new content. If you want to follow our social medias, they will be linked in the description box below.
Bye!
Bye! Be careful!